Alright, let's see if I can get it at this angle. This is pretty hard to draw with this camera. See here. Alright, so with the skull, you're going to do just like you do a face or a head. Start with the circle. This is the pencil I'm going to be using. See if you can see that. Bam, pretty nice mechanical pencils you can get here for drawing with pencil, which I don't really like to do, and as you can see, you can't really see on the paper, so I'll just go ahead and start with a pen. If you're going to be doing this, I don't really recommend using a pen. You should probably have a reference for doing a skull, unless you extremely know the anatomy of the bone structure. But even if you do, I would still recommend kind of having some sort of reference. I had to take my computer down in order to have this space, so I don't have a reference other than my own drawings. So you're going to want your eye holes and the nose bit. Nose is pretty close after you drop this square down just below the circle, and the square is going to be the outlet for the teeth, and then just about the middle would go the nose socket, and then just right above that would be the IBL sockets. The top of this goes up a little bit further than you would expect because of hair covers it up. You don't really notice it all that well. And then you're gonna want, oh, my iPod is debooping about Facebook. And depending on how detailed you want the skull to get, the eye sockets will vary. But I find normally that they're actually more square in shape than circular. Well, you know, squared off a little bit more. And the nose, depending on how much the bone's been deteriorated, there's normally going to be a line that goes down in the middle of it. And this too is sort of squared off, but these bits here are rounded. So you'll come up and then connect this bit. Sometimes this right here is just broken, and it's just that bit goes up there, and then this is kind of squared up there, and then you just kind of shred that in. Be a little bit different with pencil, but mine's not showing up on camera, and that's the only one I have. So that is that. The bridge nose is kind of slopish. I got the nose too far over to the right in comparison with these eye sockets, but that's okay. It's one of the hazards of using a pen. And the nose socket kind of has a slope upward, kind of bows like this just above it. And then there's a ridge that you want to kind of accentuate. So you would do that in there with shading. But I'm just going to draw in a line. And we'll bring in the eyes here. Normally the bone doesn't really have too many straight lines. We'll give a little curves in there every now and then, but like I said, it's best to have a reference, so when you go back and you look at each individual skull, and it'll be different. The bone forms differently on everybody, but generally it's about the same overall shape. And I kind of leave the line kind of drooping here and just not really connect it, kind of taper off, because this is a very I don't know the word. It's not exactly a sharp edge. It just rolls out here, so it's not as prominent. There we go. We'll go with prominent. And then he's gonna have the back here is gonna have actual holes into the skull. That's darker. Some ridge work. Get those really in there before I do my shading. And I'll do some cross hatching. And I work away from the darkest spot, which is going to be just under the nose and under the brow. and work my way out. And there's one eye hole. Let's work on the other one here. And again, keeping kind of bumpiness to it around the nose ridgeway there. And this too would be tapered along the edge here. And this one, accentuate the brow a little and pull it out here. And again, adding some cracks and creases in there. That's a little bit darker than the rest of it's going to be. And then pulling away. And then we'll work on the brow. Excuse me. We got the nose work here. Pulling some little pockets into the skull. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a archway to it. So you'll want to add in some shadows here and then leave this with a bit of a shine or a lightened area. And then right here where this ridgeway comes up again, there's going to be a little crest in between them that's a bit darker than the rest of it. And then the point of the brows where they meet kind of dips down this way as well. And then they clash in the middle, leaving a bit of a ridge. And this part right here is going to be pretty heavily shaded. As well in this area, as a lot on the bone, there's going to be little air pockets. So you go in here and you can put in some dots where there's little tiny holes in the bone. And this part right here, this is going to be a little harder with a pen to lightly shade this in. But we'll get it in because there's at the rest of the skull comes down and then the brow goes up, so this part's going to be a bit lighter. And then this little dip here is going to have some shade where light doesn't exactly get to it. And then I'll just kind of lightly go up, and sometimes they'll have a little cracked area here. Spider web it. Bring this down. Make this a bolder section around that bit right there for where the brow protrudes out a little. And then we'll have a section for where the temple's at. So I didn't make the head go up as far as I should have. But this will be fine. Brow comes around on this side, comes up, and then we'll connect the brow to the temple. And drop this down and then connect it here. Kind of make the skull look like it's turned some. Work off camera so you don't know how to do it, 'cause I'm a dick. Sorry about that. And then we'll come down here in the bottom of the eye. If you feel just below your eye, you're going to have a cheekbone, which protrudes pretty far out there. It's a pretty prominent section of the face. Helps people recognize you. And so you can, to do a lot of this, you can actually feel around your face if you don't have any reference, and just kind of take and poke around your face a bit and get a feel of where things are located and different things such as the cheekbone and the brow and the temple, of how they would look. Kind of just work off that. Give this one a bit of a smaller cheekbone area. I don't know why. I just wanted that look. And we'll bring this down and start working on the teeth. It's not exactly the best looking skull. Looks more alien to me than it does like a human skull, but I'm sorry. I'm working with this camera in my way. I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm blind. I can't see this far. Actually, kind of sucks. So with the teeth here, you got the 4 main ones in the front. And what's cool about this is there's in the skull little ridge work, prominent bumps where the teeth actually sit in. You'll come in and drop in some little rounded half circle bits. Well, not exactly half circles. Is that like a fourth of a circle maybe? Draw this up, kind of feather it if you can, and you'll drop off some square teeth. Front 4 flat. Bring this back up, and then you'll bring in and just kind of square it up. Dun, dun, bum, bum, bum. And then I'll just do, you have a little canine tooth on either side of that, and the rest are kind of off to the side. You work your way back, getting farther as you go, making little ridge holes for the teeth. You got the canine tooth is pointed at this bottom part, and then it also kind of curves up and points at the top there. And then start working your way back over there as well. Round that off, and then ridge work. And then you would just go in and kind of shade a little. I'm just dropping in some stuff with the lines of my pen, using the pen to drop in some lines to give it a little bit of texture and break up the whiteness of the area. And as I said, it's not exactly the best skull. I have this camera in front of me, and then I don't really have a reference. Just kind of going off memory at this point. And this isn't exactly a photorealistic skull, but you know, you can go in, and what you want to do is, once you learn how to draw items like a skull or just mainstream whatever, you want to add kind of your own style to it. You know, the way the eyes look and the nose, where I don't have that line that goes in there all the way, and just the way the teeth would look or whatever. You know, try and add your own style to it. Go in and you can add maybe horns where the temples are. With a pencil this would be a lot easier, because you could have went in and erased this line or whatever. Kind of give it a little crackedness to it. Under shade, and kind of work your way out of having that line in it. And maybe take this one over here and snap this one off. The back side's going to be darker than the foreground. And give it a little spiderweb cracks in there. Bring in the shading to get rid of that pin line there. I mean, you can still see it, but it helps cover it up at first glance. And then you can give, if you want, you know, some stray hairs, or make it a little bit creepy, going with a different pen and add some blood or whatever, you know, just whatever. So that is how to draw a skull. Quick video. I'm sure it wasn't all that quick, But there you go. If you like it, comment, rate, subscribe, ask for other videos. Sorry it's taken so long. I will get to making some other ones, and I am in the process of making a light box. Told you guys I'd do it. I'm trying to work on it. I just need to go get some parts. I was gonna try and show you guys how to make a out of household items, but that's not turning out because I don't have anything I can actually take apart without my mom killing me, because I'm in her house again and I'd rather not die. So I will get to making that video. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.